Đanića i njegovu priču o jednoj maloj tvrtci, o njezinim greškama i uspjesima. Pa Mario, dođi.
Hello, hello! So, I'm going to speak in English. I hope everybody understands me, and I hope my English isn't too bad. Can you start the presentation, please? So, I'm here in front of two companies on 3 continents. It's Europe, New Zealand, and USA, which is North America. Problems with Windows. That always happens. You can't see that. I'm so sorry. Thank you very much. So, first, Tihan was here, and she said there's a lot of you. I stood here 2 years ago, and I said there's not enough of you. And again, 2 years later, there's even less of you than there were 2 years ago. Why is that? We did something wrong. That's a fact. Who did something wrong? I don't know. Somebody did, because it shouldn't be a problem to fill this room with a bunch of people, way more people than there are here at this particular moment. Yes, being an entrepreneur means being alone, being afraid even when everything is going perfect. So, if you have some product that works perfectly, you know you've tested it to every possible detail you could, you're still afraid something is going to go wrong. Why? Because it's your baby. You've invested a significant amount of time, both in the development of the product, in the development of your team, your company, and everything related to it. You've invested your whole experience, your whole life, into something that might fail or might succeed, depending on how the market receives it, or some bad fortune happens. So, as Anna said at the beginning, I have 2 companies. One is Sixing. It's originally a New Zealand company. I started it with a guy whom I've never seen in my life, which is in contrast with Lovely HQ, which I've started with a guy from Croatia, from Osijek. So I've seen him, I've known him for the last 8 years or so, and the experience that I've got from those 2 companies are completely different and opposite. Some in a good way, some in a bad way. I might speak about that a bit later, but we'll see. Maybe if you buy me some wine or something later on. So Sixing, first of all, for those of you who are not aware what Sixing is, it's a hosting company. And just like it was 2 years ago, even more today, a hosting company is something everybody can do. It's something everybody does. So why did he do that? I have absolutely no idea. Back in 2006, one of the first cloud companies called SliceHost was just emerging. And as it happened, I was first year at faculty, and I became their community manager as their first employee. Why a community manager? I have no idea. I didn't know what it means. Nobody did. It was 2006. Nobody did community management. But yeah, I said, I can do it. Let's do it. 2 years later, thanks to their then novel approach to community, they sold themselves for $20 million without any external investment, which was a significant amount. During that time, I also happened to work for Google for 7 years. The youngest mentor from Croatia for Google ever, and then 6 years worked for them as a developer, which was quite fun. You learn a lot, you get some contacts, you learn how not to do things, especially in a so-called startup environment, even though if you tell me I'm a startup, I'm probably going to shoot you. So Sixing, 5 years later, still a very successful company. We don't have a lot of employees. I don't care about scaling the number of employees. We are 4 people plus some contractors, but we have right now around 2,000 customers, thanks to the automation that we do. So whatever a customer wants to do, he just comes to our site, clicks, I want this, this, and this, and it happens. So we don't do any client work. We do what we like, what we're good at. If clients like us, great. If they don't, well, great again. 2 years later, so December 2013, I started another company, this time in Croatia. Problem is that, not because of the bureaucracy. I've handled everything pretty easily. Payment is a bit harder, but it can be handled. The whole environment, when you're just starting out, regardless of Osijek Soccer City and everything that's popping up like T-Sex and everything else, is still quite hostile. Even the companies in your vicinity will clone your products, will call you to threaten you, or do various things which are not really good with the law. But that's for another time. So I started the company in Croatia with my co-founder. He's not with me anymore. One of the reasons is that we had some differences in the dedication to the company. But before he left, we had a project called Heroku, which I'm afraid you can't see right now. So it was a mobile client for a Heroku hosting platform. Again, hosting, why? Because I understand it really well. We built a mobile client for iOS platform when there was competition. So we had 3 competitors. And we presented at the conference in Montenegro, and everybody ignored us. All the Croatian media, all the Montenegro media, everybody. So everybody said, why the hell would you do that? Heroku didn't do it, there are a bunch of other clients. What are you going to accomplish with that? A week later, we were on TechCrunch, which only a couple of Croatian companies managed to do. A week later, all the 3 other clients stopped their development. A week later, we are in acquisition talks with one of the biggest companies in the world, Salesforce. So, amazing progress, even though nobody believes in you. I know my story might be a bit unique. I know sometimes it's a bit hard to work with me, but whatever you do with your heart, because you understand what you're doing, and you believe you can crush the competition. And you did. So, before we went into acquisition talks with Salesforce, the 2 other clients contacted us so we would buy them out. They wanted us, who just went out, to buy them. Why? We were just that much better. Not because we are smarter or better designers. We were not even designers. And the app was one of the, I'm sorry that you can't see it, but it was one of the better designed apps on iOS platform. Yeah, so unfortunately that app is not in the company anymore due to departure of my co-founder. But an interesting story, and definitely if you have an opportunity to do something, even if there's competition, do it and push it aggressively, especially if somebody wants to acquire it. So yesterday we launched a new product. Again, quite unique. This time we have absolutely no competition. I know, if I said in front of an investor that we have no competition, they would shoot me. You didn't do your research well, they would say. But you know, I do my research a little bit better than an average guy. Why? Well, because if I want to do something, I want to make it perfect. Everything I launch, I want to crush the competition. I want to win the heart of the consumers. Lovely Dots, as you can see, has a lovely owl as a logo. Why? Because the app has something to teach you. For some of you in the audience, this might actually be interesting. So without further ado, meet Lovely Dots. It is one of a kind API documentation browser for Android. It allows you to download, search, and find solution to all your programming dilemmas in over 150 languages, frameworks, and various other tools that you would use for documentation. When we launched this yesterday, we posted it only on a couple of forums. One of them was Croatian. What do you think happened? Everybody said, yes, this is great. Except on Croatian forum. Yeah, they said, what the hell is this? Why would I use this? This is stupid. And they're also developers. If for nothing else, I would support them because they tried doing something. But you know, there's a similar app for Mac OS. They also said that idea is stupid, but the guy is earning, so it's one guy, he's earning $100,000 a month. If you earned $100,000 a month, would you say the idea is stupid? Exactly, but the idea doesn't matter either. It's the execution, how you do it. So you see, this, the idea, super simple. The execution, perfect. One of the nice steps on Android has absolutely no competition and takes a ton of time to copy because of the documentation sets and not because of the app itself. So you see, even the search algorithm inside is proprietary. It's in the cloud. You can't copy that either. Not because we're smarter, not because we're better, but because we took the time to understand the customers, and because we are the customer who will use this. I'm a developer. That guy here that works with me, he's a developer. The designer might want to learn Bootstrap, so he will use this as well, hopefully, unless he falls asleep. And yeah, we did this in 2 months with me and one junior developer and a contracted designer. You don't need a bunch of people. In fact, you don't want a bunch of people because you have to take care of them. And there's a bunch of things to take care of, especially in creation. That's about it for me. There are a bunch of stories I can tell you, a bunch of things I could probably teach you how to do, but others can do that as well. You can learn a bunch from books, but it's all about the execution and working on what you love and what you understand. And don't let the others bring you down. Just follow what you know and what you want to do. Thank you. Any questions?
I have a question. May I ask how old are you and why did you leave Google?
So I'm 26. Working at Google is great, especially when you're at high school or faculty. But you don't get the freedom that I get like this, especially now. Maybe 2 years ago, I worked 12 to 16 hours a day. Today I work regular 8 hours, 9 maybe. I'm much happier than if I worked at Google. I earn enough to do whatever I want. I get to choose who I want to work with. And that's pretty much it.
Why did they hire you?
They actually called me. Google called me, Facebook called me, a bunch of other companies called me. Why? Why? It's there, I have to work what somebody else tells me. For me, that's quite hard. I like working on what I want to work on. Maybe one of the reasons why we don't work for clients, well, at least not directly, but build stuff that we want to use. If clients like them, great. I hope I answered the question at least a little bit. Yeah. Maybe we can discuss it in detail later.
You have a great story. I like it.
You said you were graduate. Why?
Long story.
Like corporation or?
Long story. But yes. Because I think English is quite important. My whole client base is in English. I get to practice English at least a little bit more. That's pretty much it.
I would like to ask you a question regarding monetization of your lovely fellow class, for example.
Okay, sure.
So, You said that you had offers to sell it. Did you sell it, and how do you monetize it right now?
So we were selling it for $7.99 per instance. I don't monetize it anymore because, as I said, my co-founder took it over. I wouldn't say, so we did earn some money with that. I wouldn't say it's a bunch, but we've shown that you can kill the competition and you can get a Fortune 500 company contact you regarding your acquisition.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was just interested in the model of how did you monetize it.
Yeah, so basically $7.99 per.
Yeah, actually the same question goes for the Lovely Docs.
Okay.
So did you monetize it by selling the app?
So,
or is there some sort of advertisement in it?
So Lovely Dots, I'm against advertisement inside the apps. So Lovely Dots is free for one documentation set. So if you only want Bootstrap, sure, you get the app, fine. If you want more than one, then it's $4.99.
Excellent.
So I think that in-app purchase model works way better than the direct purchase model. The problem with Android is that you can't sell the app from Croatia at all, and you can't use in-app purchase. You can't sell it as an in-app purchase as a company from Croatia. So I had to do it from New Zealand or from the USA, which is a bit of a problem for the majority of people. But yeah, it's definitely possible. My experience tells me that in-app purchase works way, way better.
Excellent.
Wait.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
How often do you refresh that application?
Oh, which one? This one?
Yes.
So we actually just released the app yesterday after a spectacular failure with our protection mechanism. But maybe we can talk about that later. So the app already had one update because of the protection bug. So not code bug, but protection bug. Other than that, we're aiming for a release in a month. And then maybe every month or every other month, depending on the feature requested by our clients. And in the meantime, we can update dot sets. So if Bootstrap releases a new version, we don't have to update an app. We just regenerate the doc set on our servers, and then the app pulls that. Currently, you can only pull the latest version, but we are soon going to allow previous versions as well. It just takes a little bit of time as there's two of us, and two of us can only do so much work and so much testing. One of the reasons why we didn't test the encryption and protection mechanism. Yes, I hope I answered the question.
Yes.
Very good.
Zašto mislite da je ta aplikacija tako jedinstvena?
I don't think so. I know so.
Prvo, zašto znate da je?
Because I've researched the article.
Mislim, to je vrlo zatvoreni odgovor koji ne dozvoljava. Znači, da li imate neku aplikaciju koja je slična, a koju ste recimo zatvorili širenje sa recimo vašom?
There's one similar app that does the same for Mac, but not for Android or iOS. And there's a certain attempt on doing something similar on the web, but they're not that good and they've stopped their development. So there are some attempts. Only one that's really succeeded, which is on Mac, but on mobile there's nothing so far.
Jer mislim, nisam baš dobro vidio zbog same prezentacije, baš detalje, ali mislim, viđao sam, znači mogu vam reći ko su developeri iz Broda koji su radili tu aplikaciju, sličnu, koja koketira sa document management sustavom, ako sam dobro shvatio.
Yeah, but this is not a document management system.
Zato kažem koketira, znači nije baš, ali pokriva neke rupe koje document management je sve kruto da bi zatvorio.
If you have any information, I'd be glad to hear them. Nothing that I know so far.
Njihov proizvod se zove Pozitivan, iz Brode su. Rade za Stiriju, Austrijsku, vrlo ozbiljne.
Yeah, I know Stiriju.
Znači, vrlo ozbiljne su kompanije, startup. I tako da, mislim, vrlo je onako samopouzdano, to kupci vole kada onako, znači, puni ste energije, to se vidi. Ali mogu da vas neko, recimo, reći, evo ja imam.
If you can show me, great, but I'd be happy to have a look at it later. Okay.
I have one more question.
Yes, please.
Where did you found a company with the guy from New Zealand? It's so far away. It's hard to make any relation with that guy.
So it's all about trust. The guy actually had a company, and I was looking for hosting at that time. I came to him, I saw, well, he has something that might work. But at the time, I was just starting college, didn't have a lot of money, but I was good in sales. Kind of, I'm improving every day, of course. So I said, hey, can I work for you? You give me some servers, I'll work for you. If I do something good, you'll hire me. Turns out, I did a 300% increase in sales in a couple of weeks. Great. He said, do you want to be my partner? I said, yes. So he sprayed the entire company. We started a new one. It's focused on the same thing, rebuilt the product, invested a bunch of money. Here we are, 5 years later, we're still alive. When everybody else failed, all the startups I've seen in Croatia, USA, various other countries, we've succeeded. Not by millions or trillions or billions or whatever, but enough for me to have fun, to live comfortably, and for, well, nobody can tell me anything. You're welcome. Anybody else?
Excuse me, can you talk a little bit about working with Salesforce? We use their software, so I'm just interested in that part.
We don't use any Salesforce tools. We did enter into negotiations with them. Quite complicated. So, at the beginning, that story is also quite interesting. We used a lovely Heroku name for our application because their platform is called Heroku. And their first contact with us, apart from us fixing a couple of bugs in their API, was, we're going to sue you because you're using our trademark. You're using Heroku in the name. You're not allowed to do that. Fine. No, we want you in the name. Why not? We love the app. We love what we did. And a couple of conversations later, when they actually figured out that we're not going to give up the name just that easily, and I wasn't really afraid of being sued, I said, well, you know, we did this app for ourselves, for a couple of people that we know. We didn't really want to earn money on it because we still didn't have a company. How about we give you the app for free and we continue developing? So that intrigued the director of marketing, then Matt Trufiro, one of the quite known actually marketing guys in the world, sold a couple of companies for hundreds of millions of dollars. He said, well, that won't work, but you know, I've spoken with my CEO. We might want to buy the app because we don't have any mobile strategy. We'll buy the app and you'll continue developing it. I said, yeah, sure, great, why not? So we entered into a complex series of talks with him and a couple of other directors, which ended at a certain time because Matt left the company. He was our primary license inside the company for the sale. So the other director that we spoke with before this happened, he was a bit less responsive, and since we made a problem internally, it failed. But an interesting experience, definitely, that only a few companies get to talk seriously about an acquisition with such a company. I hope I answered the questions. Yeah, sure. Any other questions? If not, that would be all. Thank you very much.